Week 4 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I looked ahead off the wire this week. The first guy, Javier Assad of the Chicago Cubs. So Javier Assad, it's been a good start for him, and he's been picked up in 26% of fantasy leagues over the last week, and this is most likely the last chance for fantasy owners to go out there and get him on their teams. Only available now in 50% of leagues on the season, 21 and a third, 2-0 record, 21 Ks, a 2.11 ERA, a 1.03 whip, and a quality start. So Assad, he's been pitching good baseball in the early going for the Chicago Cub team. I know his last outing, he didn't last that long, but he's still going out there and giving quality starts and innings for fantasy owners as Assad. April 2nd versus the Rockies, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, no runs, a walk, 5 Ks, a quality start. April 8th at the Padres, 5 innings, no decision. 3 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks in that ball game. And then it's April 14th at Seattle, 5 2/3, got the win. 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 6 Ks in that one. And April 20th versus the Marlins, a mixed bag of results in yesterday's game. 4 2/3, only 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, 3 Ks. So Assad's pitching good baseball. The only problem, the walks, the last couple outings have gone up a little bit. But he's a pitcher that's been going out there and the former top prospect in this Cubs system and getting players out and doing well. So right now, pitching's tough to find, obviously, on the waiver wire. And Assad, I know he's not going more than 5-6 innings at best, but at this point in Major League Baseball, you're not going to find a lot of aces. We're going to go deep into ball games, especially somewhat on the wire. So right now, while he's pitching good baseball, is Assad. He's definitely a good ad this week. The next ad's his teammate, Jameson Taillon of the Chicago Cubs. So Taillon, he came off the injured list and he pitched 5 innings in his debut versus the Miami Marlins. Obviously, the Marlins, the worst team in the National League now, and it was a good start for him to come off the injured list and get going. Last season, 154 and a third, 8-10 record, to save 140 Ks, a 4.84 ERA, 1.28 whip, and 9 quality starts. So Taillon back in the rotation. Right now, he's still out there in tons of fantasy leagues at 84%. And some are more of a guy in 12-team leagues I think you could depend on. So like I said, his season debut, not bad. 5 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, 4 Ks. So Taillon, we know a few seasons ago he had a good season with the New York Yankees and obviously got the good contract with the Chicago Cubs. And now back in the rotation, even though April 24th, his next outing, he's penciled in for versus the Houston Astros, where obviously I know this Astro team's struggling, but they still got big bats in that lineup and they still haven't been putting up runs on the board. What a Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, obviously Jordan Alvarez. So it's going to be a tough outing, no doubt about it for Taillon. But like I said, Taillon, he's got a spot back in this rotation. He's a capable pitcher, and I think he could go out there and help fantasy owners this season. And he's an ad this week. The next ad, Ryan Weathers of the Miami Marlins. So Ryan Weathers, he's off to a nice start, and he's been pitching good baseball in the early going. Even with the Padres, Weathers, for the most part, I know he didn't go deep into games, but earlier last season, he was good until second half of the year. He was batting practice. So far in the early going, 20 innings, 2-1 record, 22 Ks, a 2.70 ERA, a 1.35 whip, and a quality start. So I know he's on a bad Miami Marlin team as Ryan Weathers, and he's not going to get many wins. And he don't go deep into ball games. Like I said, another pitcher, 5-6 innings, but at this point, that's what you're going to find on the waiver wire. Right now, available in 82% of fantasy leagues is Weathers. So if he could go out there and give you some decent innings, even in points leagues, if he could go 5 innings, 4 or 5 strikeouts, 1 or 2 runs, I think he's decent in that. In category leagues, I don't think he'll be much of a big ad, but more points leagues, I think Ryan Weathers is a solid ad. April 4th at St. Louis, 5 innings, 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, 6 Ks. April 10th at the Yankees, 5 innings, got the win, 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, a K. And April 16th, what an outing versus the Giants, 6 innings, got the win, 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 10 Ks, a quality start. So Weathers, he's been pitching good baseball. I'm definitely a player I looked at off the wire this week. The next pitcher, Paul Blackburn of the Oakland Athletics. A Blackburn, last chance most likely for fantasy owners to go out there and get him this week here. Blackburn, he's off to a great start in the early going. 25 innings, 2-0 record, 18 Ks, a 1.08 ERA, a 1 whip, and 3 quality starts. But just like Ryan Weathers, another player where he's not going to get a lot of wins under his belt. He's on one of the worst teams in the whole major leagues. Here's Paul Blackburn. But right now, while he's pitching good baseball, and like I said, still out there in 50% of fantasy league. No, I know he's got a tough outing April 23rd at the New York Yankees. He's still someone I would go out there and get this week, April 6 at Detroit, 6 innings, got the win in that one. 3 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, a quality start. April 12th versus the Nats, 6 in the third, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. And then April 17th, his worst outing of the season, where he finally gave up runs, was Blackburn. First 3 starts for him. He didn't give up an earned run all year. 5 2/3, got the win. 6 hits, 3 runs, 5 walks, 7 Ks. So Blackburn, he's a pitch to contact type of pitcher, even though he did have 7 Ks in his last outing, even though the Cardinals offense do strike out a whole lot. But anyway, Blackburn's pitching good. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to hold up, but right now, if he's out there still in your fantasy league, which he is available in 50% of Yahoo leagues here, he's definitely an ad. But like I said, definitely a tough outing coming up at the New York Yankees in a couple days here, the 23rd, for Paul Blackburn. But still, someone with his upside so far and the way he's performed, he's definitely an ad this week. The next ad, Jack Flaherty of the Detroit Tigers. So Flaherty so far, I think he's been pretty decent for this Tiger team. I know one outing he did get bombed and his ERA definitely inflated up, but besides that, he's gone out there and pitched good baseball as Flaherty. Right now available in 55% of fantasy leagues on the season, 24 and a third, 0-1 record, 30 Ks, a 4.44 ERA, 1.11 whip, and 3 quality starts. So Flaherty, his strikeout rate is up this season. Already 30 strikeouts in only 24 and a third. And he's gone out there, like I said, most outings and pitched good. And he is a former ace for the St. Louis Cardinals a few years ago. So the last few games for Flaherty, April 7th versus Oakland, 6 innings, got the loss. 9 hits, 6 runs, a walk, 5 Ks. Then April 14th, he bounced back, 6 and a third, no decision versus the Twins. 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks, a quality start. And April 10th at Minnesota, once again, 6 innings, no decision. 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 10 Ks, a quality start. So if it was only that simple every time out there to go and pitch versus the Minnesota Twins, where he's had their number so far in the early going. But the major thing here with Flaherty, he plays in a weak hitting division with the Royals, Chicago White Sox, Minnesota Twins, teams that really aren't great hitters of the ball. And even the Cleveland Guardians, I don't think their offense is all that great. So right now he's pitching good baseball. He's in a friendly division in terms of not versing great hitting teams. But I know April 24th is a tough matchup, no doubt about it, at the Tampa Bay Rays, even though they're out of the gate not hitting the baseball all that great. But right now, while Flaherty's playing good baseball and his strikeout rate is up and he's been healthy, which is the main concern for him throughout his career, he's definitely a good ad this week. The next ad is Zach Littell of the Tampa Bay Rays. So Littell, pretty much, he's been on this list all season, and he's pitching great baseball for Tampa Bay. 21 innings, 1-0 record, 22 Ks, 2.14 ERA, a 1.33 whip, and a quality starts. I know the quality starts haven't been there for him and the wins haven't, but still a pitcher, especially in points leagues, that could go out there and help fantasy owners. I know he's going about 5 innings, but he's still getting quality innings and points for fantasy owners in those points leagues. Like I said, his Littell, and ERA is even low as well. So Littell, he's going to have a spot in this rotation, obviously, with major injuries going into the season in this Ray rotation. With McClellan, obviously, Taj Bradley hurt, Jeffrey Springs. So Littell, the last few games, April 10th at the Angels, 4 1/3, 6 hits, a run, 3 walks, 4 Ks. April 17th versus the Angels, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 3 runs, 7 Ks in that one. So right now, the last 2 outings, like I said, haven't been all that great for Littell, but he's still a guy that's been competitive. He's more of an ad in points leagues, like I said, where he's getting double-digit points for the most part, is Zach Littell on the season. Because category leagues, he's not going to bring much except the ERA. The strikeouts haven't been all that great this season here for Zach Littell. And like I said, he hasn't been going that deep into games. But right now, well, he's still out there in a decent amount of leagues at 59%. And he's got decent upside. He's a good ad this week. Next year, Clark Schmidt of the New York Yankees. So Clark Schmidt last season, I thought he was pretty decent, especially second half of the year. Now, obviously, he's on one of the best teams in the league. Juan Soto changing a whole lot in that Yankees offense. On the season, 20 innings, 1-0 record, 23 Ks, a 3.15 ERA, a 1.55 whip. So Clark Schmidt, another pitcher where he's only a 5-inning pitcher, about 6 innings at best, but still going to go out there. He's still going to help fantasy owners. He's still surprisingly out there as well in 76% of fantasy leagues. And he's definitely a decent ad, I believe, this week as well. Here's Schmidt. April 6th versus Toronto, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. April 13th at the Guardians, 5 innings, got the win, 3 hits, a run, 5 walks, 7 Ks. And April 19th versus the Rays, 5 1/3, no decision, 7 hits, a run, 7 Ks. His strikeout rate's been up so far this season, which is good. He's got a great matchup coming up in a few days, April 24th versus the Oakland Athletics. And Clark Schmidt has upside, I believe, with a good offense backing him. A team that's going to win most likely 90 to 100 games is this New York Yankee team. And Clark Schmidt only in his second year, where we know some of these guys, they break out in that second year. So right now, while he's out there and he's on a great team with the Yankees, he's definitely a good ad this week. The next ad, we're staying in New York, but going to Queens with the New York Mets starter, former Yankee as well, Luis Severino of the New York Mets. So Severino, we know he's got good stuff throughout his career, but injuries and last season, a lot of tipping of his pitches were the problem. But so far this year, 21 innings, 2-1 record, 21 Ks, a 2.14 ERA, a 1.38 WHIP, and a quality start. So the Mets, they took a chance on him on a one-year deal. And it's obviously very early in the season, only a few weeks in and still in April, where things could go sour quickly for these pitchers. But Severino's gone out there and he's pitched well. And like I said, we always knew he had good stuff, but injuries. And last season, he was batting practice and tipping pitching. It's April 6th at the Reds, 5 innings, no decision, 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 7 Ks. April 12th versus the Royals, 5 innings, got the win, a hit, a run, 4 walks, 4 Ks. And April 17th versus the Pirates, 6 innings, got the win, 4 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. So Severino, he's more of a 5-6 inning pitcher at this point in his career. And this Met team, no doubt about it, they're off to a good start in the early going. But like I said, things could turn quickly. And this Met team, I don't know if they're going to keep up the way they're pitching. But right now, Severino's pitching good. This team leads in ERA in the National League. And now he's got a decent outing at the San Francisco Giants. April 23rd is here, Severino, where their offense hasn't really been clicking and they're striking out a whole lot. So right now, while he's available in 52% of fantasy leagues and for now is healthy, I would give him an ad this week. The next ad's his teammate Jose Butto of the New York Mets. So Butto, he's locked in that 5th starter role. Tyler McGill, he left his first start early in the year with a shoulder injury. We haven't seen him since. Then they signed Julio Teheran. They didn't like what they saw, so one outing, they cut him loose. And now Butto's got a spot in the rotation on the year, 16 and a third, 0-0 record, 21 Ks, a 1.65 ERA, a 1.04 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So he wasn't a highly touted prospect or even a top guy in the Mets system. But right now he's gone out there and pitched good baseball for the New York Mets. Here is Jose Butto, and he's available right now 67% of leagues. So April 4th versus the Tigers, 6 innings in that one. No decision, 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, 6 Ks, a quality start. April 14th versus the Royals, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, a walk, 9 Ks, a quality start. And April 20th, obviously, versus a loaded Dodger offense, 4 and a third, no decision, 3 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks, 6 Ks. So Butto, the walks obviously did him into the Los Angeles Dodgers. But like I said, he's locked in a rotation role here. Even if Tyler McGill returns sooner than later, I believe Butto has more upside than McGill. And McGill, we know, is a 4 or 5 inning pitcher and not a good one at that. So right now, well, he's locked in a rotation spot and his ERA is under a 2 in the early going here in the first 3 outings of the year for Butto. Even though he's coming off a poor outing at the Dodgers, he's still a solid ad, I believe, this week. And he's available in 67% of leagues. And the final pitcher I looked at off the wire is Andrew Abbott of the Cincinnati Reds. I'm surprised Abbott's still out there in 53% of fantasy leagues. I believe he has major upside. He's definitely a high strikeout pitcher, even though it hasn't translated so far in the early going. Only 17 strikeouts, 23 in the third, 1-2 record, 2.70 ERA, a 1.07 WHIP and a quality start. But good southpaws are hard to find. And Andrew Abbott, I believe, is a good lefty. And he's going to be a good pitcher, I believe, as the season goes on for the Cincinnati Red team and for fantasy owners. So right now, while Andrew Abbott has been middle of the pack in terms of going deeper into games and strikeouts, he's still going out there and playing good baseball. April 7th versus the Mets, 5 innings, got the loss, 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks in that one. April 12th at the White Sox, 7 innings, got the win, 4 hits, a run, 3 Ks, a quality start in that ball game. And April 17th at the Mariners, 6 innings, tough luck loser, 4 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, a quality start in 6 Ks. So Abbott's pitching good baseball. His next outing, no doubt about it, a tough one versus the Phillies. We're playing great baseball. One of the better offenses in the league, in my opinion. But with his upside with strikeouts, a lefty, I know he plays in a great hitter's park, which obviously is a con for Andrew Abbott. But still, right now, like I said, major upside. One of the top pitching prospects in baseball last season. And so far, I think he's held his own in the majors. So right now, while he's out there for 53% of fantasy leagues, he's definitely a pitcher I looked at this week, so that's a few pitchers I looked at off the wire for week 4 of the fantasy baseball season.